Ladies and gentlemen, it is noon. My name is Anna Kowalik. I was appointed for the first part to be the chairman of the meeting. I would like to resume the ordinary general meeting, which was started on the 3rd of June 2024. I would like to welcome all participants, proxies, shareholders, members of the board, supervisory board, all present. Thank you for your arrival. And before we start with the agenda, let me remind you with some formal aspects. Also, principles of voting. Those of you who are here, you are familiar with it. Just for the order, just a couple of words of instruction. Good afternoon. You've got a tablet to vote. In your data, you can check who you represent, how many shares and votes it is. Voting is simple. When we have voting, you will see the title and 3 buttons. You should make the right decision. Then it will take you to the next window, and it will be the decision that you took previously, and you can click confirm. If accidentally in the first step you take the wrong decision, you can always go back with the button return and then select the right answer. But once you confirm in the second window, there is no such option. So please bear that in mind to avoid mistakes. Of course, we are here available for you to assist you. Should you have any questions, this is the best moment to do so. No, I see no questions. Thank you. Thank you very much. When it comes to organization, I'd like to remind you we have decided that I'm not going to read the content of all resolutions, and we are going to go through to the voting of the absolute rights. I have the list of participants. Let me just sign it and just bear with me. The attendance list has been signed, and on those grounds, I would like to say that the actions 1,700,400 for all the share or 100% capital, we have 1,035,012,518 shares, which constitutes 59.05% of capital. And when it comes to votes, we have 1,028,156,891. KGHM Polska Miedź S.A. shareholder, as per the statement, hold over 10% of votes. So the list of attendance has the limitation of KGHM up to 10% of general votes. At the same time, let me notify you that the shareholder over 10% of total votes is the state treasury, where the limitations stemming from the statute do not apply due to the number of shares of 25% of votes in the company. Let me notify you, nobody objected to the continuation of the meeting. To sum up, the ordinary meeting, as we have said, is appropriately convened, is able to adopt resolutions, so we can go through to the agenda. On the 3rd of June, we carried out the point from 11 up to 13. Now we are going to go through to point 14, undertaking resolutions on granting vote of approval of members of the board who performed functions in 2023. All those points that we are going to read require secret voting because they are on personal matters. Ladies and gentlemen, I think the fastest, most convenient would be if we have the draft of the resolution displayed on the screen, and then we have a short resolution, and then I'm going to read out the names of the members of the board, and then we go through to the supervisory board members' names. When it comes to the content of the resolution on granting of the vote of approval for Paweł Szczeszko, member of president of the board, do we have any comments? Does anybody have any comments? If not, let's vote. Have all the shareholders and proxies managed to vote, to cast their votes? I see no comments. Therefore, the voting is closed. Let's see the results of voting. We will have the counting committee who's going to help us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 1,028,1,056,891, 1,026,000,091 shares, which is 58.66% of share capital. For, we had 217,086,005 votes, against 300,000, abstained 810,770,886 votes. Therefore, the resolution has not been adopted. Now, the next resolution, it is displayed on the board. It is on granting vote of approval for the next person. This is vote of approval for Patryk Dębski. Are there any comments with regards to the content? If not, let's resume secret voting.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni mieli możliwość?
Has everybody cast a vote? I see and hear no comments, therefore let's see the results. The ballot counting committee shall present those. Thank you. Let me read the results. 1,028,156,891 valid votes in the same number of shares. Nothing has changed. 58.66% of share capital. Votes for 217,086,005 votes, against 300, abstained 810,770,886 votes. The resolution is not adopted. Now we can go through to the next resolution for the members of the board. Resolution on granting vote of approval to Bogusław Rybacki. Are there any comments with regards to the draft of the resolution? If none, let's resume voting.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni mieli możliwość oddania sobie głosów?
Everybody managed to cast a vote. I see no objection. Now we shall request the ballot counting committee to present the results. Thank you. There have been 1,028,156,891 valid votes in the same number of shares, which constitutes 56.66% of share capital. Votes for 217,086,005 votes, against 0, abstained 811,070,886 votes. Therefore, the resolution is not adopted. The next resolution on granting the vote of approval to Mr. Krzysztof Surma. Any comments with regards to the draft? If not, I order vote.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni mieli możliwość?
Has everybody managed to cast a vote? If no objection, therefore, I shall request the ballot counting committee to present the results of the vote. Thank you. 1,028,156,891 valid votes in the same number of shares, which constitutes 58.66% of share capital. Votes for 240,683,935 votes, against 0, abstained 787,472,956 votes. The resolution is not adopted. Now the draft of resolution of vote of approval for Tomasz Szczygierniak. Any questions, comments? If none, let's vote.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni mieli możliwość oddania swoich głosów?
Everybody had the chance to cast their votes. If so, let's see the results.
Oddano 1,028
1,028,156,891 valid votes have been cast from the same number of shares. That's 58.66% of the share capital. For that's 217,086,005 votes, against 0, abstaining 811 votes, 70,886 votes, and so the resolution has not been adopted. Let's see the draft resolution on the vote of approval for Mr. Artur Warzocha. This is the draft. Do we have any questions? If no, let's vote.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni mieli możliwość oddania swoich głosów?
Everybody cast their vote. So let's see the results.
Oddano 1,028,000,000.
1,028,156,891 valid votes have been cast from the same number of shares, constituting 58.66% of the share capital. For that's 217,086,005 votes, against 0, and abstaining 811,070,886 votes. So the resolution has not been adopted. And so we have covered the item 14 concerning the vote of approval for members of the management board, 6 resolutions, right? So we have covered all the persons who were members of the management board in 2023. And now item 15 on the agenda, the subject of which is a resolution on the vote of approval for members of the management board who held their positions in the financial year of 2015. And if you allow me, we will follow the same procedure. So I'm going to read out the names. So resolution number 18 on the vote of approval for Mr. Dariusz Lubera. Are there any questions? If not, let's vote in a secret ballot.
Rozumiem, że głosowanie jeszcze trwa.
Are we still voting?
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni mieli możliwość zagłosowania?
Everyone cast their vote? If so, let's see the results.
Dziękuję. Oddano
1,028,156,891 valid votes have been cast from the same number of shares, i.e. 58.66% of the share capital. For, that's 991,577,102 votes, against 14,626,922 votes, and abstaining 21,952,867 votes. And so the resolution has been adopted. Thank you. Let's see the draft resolution concerning the vote of approval for Mr. Alexander Grad. This is the draft resolution. Are there any questions? If no, let's start the secret ballot.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni mieli możliwość oddania?
Everyone cast their vote. If so, let's see the results.
Oddano 1,028
1,028,156,891 valid votes have been cast from the same number of shares, and i.e. 58.66% of the share capital. For, that's 991,577,102 votes, against 14,626,922 votes, abstaining 21,952,867 votes. So the resolution has been adopted. Thank you very much. Let's see the draft resolution on the vote of approval for Mrs. Katarzyna Rosenfeld. Are there any questions, any comments? If no, let us vote.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni zagłosowali?
Everyone cast their vote. No issues. So let's see the results.
Oddano 1,020
1,028,156,891 valid votes have been cast from the same number of shares, i.e. 58.66% of the share capital, for 991,577,102 votes, against 14,626,922 votes, and abstaining, that's 21,952,867 votes. So the resolution has been adopted. Thank you. Now let's see the draft resolution on the vote of approval for Mr. Stanisław Tokarski. Are there any questions? If no, let's vote.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni mieli możliwość?
Everyone cast their votes? I think so. So let's see the results.
Oddano 1,020
1,028,156,891 valid votes have been cast from the same number of shares, that's 58.66% of the share capital. For, that's 991,577,102 votes, against 14,626,922 votes, and abstaining, that's 21,952,867 votes. So the resolution has been adopted. And the last draft resolution from this item on the vote of approval for members of the management board for 2015, and it's concerning Mr. Krzysztof Zawadzki. This is the draft resolution. Are there any questions? If no, I'm ordering a vote.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni mogli zagłosować?
Everyone cast their vote. No issues. All right, so let's see the results.
Dziękuję.
1,028,156,891 votes in the same number of shares, which constitutes 58.66% of share capital. Votes for 991,577,102 votes, against 14,626,922 votes, abstained 21,952,867 votes. Therefore, the resolution has been adopted. We completed point 15. Let's start with point 16, which the subject is being undertaking resolutions on vote of approval for members of the supervisory board in 2023 fiscal year. If you have nothing against, I shall read out the names that individual resolutions refer to. Therefore, now let's see the draft of the resolution of vote of approval for Piotr Tutak, the chairman of the supervisory board. Any questions? Can't see any. Let's open the vote. Of course, it is secret voting.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni mogli zagłosować?
Everybody cast their vote. I see there were no problems. Therefore, the voting is closed, and I shall ask for the results of the voting. Thank you. There have been 1,028,126,891 valid votes in the same number of shares. It is 58.66% of share capital. Votes for 990,437,102 votes. Against 37,199,819 votes. Abstain 519,970 votes. Therefore, the resolution has been adopted. Thank you. The next draft of the resolution on vote of approval for Teresa Famulska, Vice President of the Supervisory Board. We have the draft resolutions. I see no questions. Therefore, let's vote. Has everybody managed to cast a vote? If so, let's see the result. One 1,028,156,891 valid votes in the same number of shares. The share capital 58.66%. Votes for 990,737,102 votes. Against 37,199,819. Abstained 219,970 votes. Therefore, the resolution has been adopted. Thank you. And now the draft of the resolution on granting the vote of approval for Marcin Wawrzyniak. This is the draft of the resolution. Any questions? If none, let's vote. Naturally, it is going to be secret voting again. Has everybody managed to cast their votes with no problems? If so, I shall request the results of the vote. One 1,028,156,891 votes have been cast in the same number of shares, which constitutes 58.66% of share capital. Votes for 990,437,102 votes, against 37,199,819 votes, and abstained 519,970. The resolution has been adopted. Thank you. Now we'll have the draft of the resolution on vote of approval for Stanisław Borkowski. This is the draft of the resolution. Any comments? I see none. Let's vote.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni mieli możliwość oddania?
Everybody managed to cast a vote. I see no comments. Therefore, the voting is closed, and let's see the results. One 1,028,156,891 valid votes have been cast in the same number of shares, which constitutes 58.66% of share capital. Votes for 990,437,102 votes, against 37,199,819, and abstained 519,970 votes. Therefore, the resolution has been adopted. Thank you. And now resolution on granting a vote of approval for Dariusz Hryniowow. Do we have a draft resolution? Any questions? None. I order vote.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni mieli możliwość
Has everybody managed to cast a vote? If so, the voting is closed, and let's see the results. 1,028,156,891 valid votes in the same number of votes. The share capital in the 58.66%. Votes for 990,437,102 votes, against 37,199,819, and abstained 519,970. Therefore, the resolution has been adopted. Thank you. And now let's see the draft of the resolution on granting the vote of approval for Leszek Koziorowski. This is the draft of the resolution. If there are no questions, now let's vote.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni mieli możliwość
Everybody managed to cast their vote? If so, let's see the results. One billion 28,156,899 valid votes in the same number of shares. The 58.66% of share capital votes for 990,737,102 votes, against 37,199,819 votes, abstained 219,970 votes. Therefore, the resolution has been adopted. Thank you very much. Now we shall have the draft of the resolution of granting vote of approval for Ryszard Madziar. This is the draft of the resolutions. Any questions? If none, let's vote.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni zagłosowali?
Has everybody managed to cast their vote? I see no comments. Therefore, the voting is closed, and let's see the results. Votes cast 1,028,156,891 valid votes in the same number of shares, which constitutes 58.66% of share capital votes for 990,437,102 votes, against 37,199,819 votes, and abstained 519,970 votes. Therefore, the resolution has been adopted. Thank you very much. And now we shall see the last draft of the resolution in this point of the agenda. It will be on granting vote of approval for Grzegorz Peczkis. This is the draft of the resolution. Any questions? If none, let's vote.
Czy wszyscy uprawnieni mogli zagłosować, czy nie było problemów?
One cast their vote. So let's see the results if we have not had any problems.
Oddano 1,028
1,028,156,891 valid votes have been cast from the same number of shares, and that's 58.66% of the share capital. For that's 990,737,102 votes against 37,199,819 votes, and abstaining 219 and 970 votes. And so the resolution has been adopted. Thank you very much. And so we have adopted 8 resolutions here, right, for all members. Thank you very much. And now item 17, the subject of which is the vote of approval for members of the supervisory board of the company who held their positions in the financial year 2015. And so I'm suggesting that we vote in a similar manner. I'm going to call out the names. And so let's see the first draft resolution on the vote of approval for Mr. Antoni Tajduś. Are there any questions? If no, let's vote.
Czy wszyscy już oddali swoje głosy, wszyscy uprawnieni?
Everyone cast their votes. I do not see any comments, any remarks, so let's see the results.
W głosowaniu tajnym oddano
1,028,156,891 votes. Valid votes have been cast from the same number of shares. That's 58.66% of the share capital, so nothing has changed. We have 992,314,449 votes cast for. Against, that's 14,189,575 votes. Abstaining, 21,652,867 votes. And so the resolution has been adopted. Let's see the draft resolution on the vote of approval for Mrs. Agnieszka Woś. So this is it. Are there any comments, questions? If none, let's vote.
Wszyscy już uprawnieni oddali.
Cast their vote. Have there been any issues? If no, I'm asking the vote counting committee now to present the results.
Dziękuję. Oddano 1,028 milionów.
28,156,891 valid votes have been cast from the same number of shares, and that's 58.66% of the share capital. Votes for, that's 992,314,449 votes. Against, 14,189,575 votes, and abstaining 21,652,867 votes. And so the resolution has been adopted. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've exhausted item 17 of the agenda of the meeting. So let's go to item 18. So, well, we have exhausted all of the items on the agenda of the ordinary general meeting on which started in June and was continued today, has been continued today. So this is it. Thank you very much for arriving, for voting, and have a good day.